Welcome to Bullseye Movies channel. Even though Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2, Episode 10 technically revolves around Sheldon Cooper, the long-awaited return of the franchise's original central character ends up feeling more disappointing than satisfying. For a show that spun off from Young Sheldon, Sheldon's physical absence has always been conspicuous, but this episode makes it increasingly clear that viewers should not expect him to step back into the spotlight anytime soon. From the moment Georgie and Mandy's first marriage was first announced, one of the biggest questions hovering over the series was whether, and when, Sheldon Cooper would appear. Fans who followed Young Sheldon religiously naturally assumed that Sheldon's presence, even if limited, would carry over into the spin-off. After all, he wasn't just the protagonist of the previous series. He was the emotional and narrative axis around which the entire Cooper family revolved. Sheldon's final appearance in Young Sheldon came during the show's bittersweet series finale, which carefully closed the chapter on his childhood in Texas. That ending gave viewers something that felt emotionally appropriate. Sheldon leaving home to begin the next phase of his life, older but still unmistakably himself. It was a thoughtful send-off that respected both the character's growth and the audience's long-term investment in him. Even so, as fitting as that farewell was, it remains undeniably odd that Sheldon has not appeared, either physically or meaningfully, throughout the first two seasons of Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. This is especially striking given how many other members of the Cooper family have transitioned seamlessly into the spin-off. Mary Cooper remains a steady presence. Missy continues to be a core emotional and comedic force. Georgie, of course, anchors the entire series, while Meemaw plays a significant role whenever she's available. With George Sr. gone, Sheldon stands out as the lone missing Cooper, a character whose absence is felt precisely because everyone else is still there. On a practical level, the show offers an easy explanation. Sheldon is living in California, attending Caltech. Within the internal logic of the series, this is perfectly reasonable. Sheldon has always been academically driven, and his early college life naturally pulls him away from Texas. Yet even with that explanation, the complete lack of on-screen appearances still feels strange. Sheldon was only 13 years old when Young Sheldon ended. In the timeline of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, more than a year has passed since then. That's a significant amount of time in a teenager's life, but it's hardly enough to justify total emotional and physical distance from his family. Even prodigies come home for holidays, birthdays, or major events, especially when they're still minors. That's why Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2, Episode 10, titled Miami Beach and a Magical Family Christmas, stands out as such a pivotal moment. If there were ever an episode designed to bring Sheldon back, this was it. Christmas is traditionally the ultimate family gathering, especially in sitcom storytelling. It's the one time of year when even estranged or far-flung relatives are expected to return home. Instead of using that opportunity to finally reunite the Cooper family on screen, the episode makes a very deliberate choice not to do so. That decision speaks volumes. Rather than teasing a cameo or surprise appearance, the episode quietly confirms that Sheldon's return is not part of the show's immediate plans. The narrative structure of the episode makes this clear. While the McAllister family prepares for a chaotic trip to Miami Beach, Mary plans to visit Sheldon in Pasadena. Initially, it seems as though this setup might lead to a meaningful on-screen moment involving Sheldon. However, the story quickly veers in a different direction. Once Missy learns that Pasadena does not, in fact, offer beaches or vacation-style fun, she opts out of the California trip and joins the McAllisters instead. That narrative choice leaves Mary as the sole Cooper family member who actually travels to see Sheldon. The visit happens entirely off-screen, with Sheldon remaining unseen and unheard. On one level, this at least reassures viewers that the show hasn't completely forgotten about Sheldon. His existence still matters within the story, even if he doesn't physically appear. But for fans hoping that Episode 10 would finally break the pattern and bring Sheldon back into the frame, the outcome is undeniably deflating. If Christmas doesn't justify Sheldon returning to Texas, or at least appearing on screen, then it's difficult to imagine what would. Thanksgiving and Christmas are the two most obvious family-centric holidays in American television storytelling, and the show has now passed on both as opportunities. That reality significantly lowers the odds of a Sheldon cameo appearing later in the season. The decision to skip these moments suggests something more intentional than simple scheduling conflicts. Sheldon is not just absent by circumstance, he is absent by design. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage appears increasingly uninterested in recentering him within its narrative. From a creative standpoint, this approach makes a certain amount of sense. The spin-off is attempting to establish its own identity, separate from the long shadow cast by young Sheldon. As beloved as Sheldon Cooper is, keeping him front and center would risk undermining Georgie's journey and the thematic focus of the new series.